Greetings. I'm Logan, the G.I. Joe Gamer, and tonight on Thursday Night Reviews, we're going to be taking a look at the original D&D game, Dungeons and Dragons, from TSR. That's going to be what we're doing tonight. And apparently, I have I have YouTube up with it live too. Sorry about that. Hello, Mages Music. Sean, how you doing? You'll be nodding off. Well, I had to start late today. I apologize for that. I normally start a couple hours earlier on Thursdays, but my power company decided that they were doing line maintenance today, and so I ended up having to start late. So we'll just jump right into this. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to look at some stuff, and I'm going to watch some videos, take a look at all these old boxes and stuff, and what was in it. We'll try to keep going. Okay. That'll work for me, bud. I'll try not to put you to sleep with my voice or the videos. So I'm going to be playing, like I said, I'm going to be playing some videos for each of these that I collected for all the artwork. Now, some of you have seen all these, but we're going to watch them again because that's what I made them for, was this video. And yeah, I'm talking D&D, and hopefully that'll help. Hello, Bleecker Street Comics. Welcome. So let's check out the first video if I can get it working here. And we're going to look at the blue box first. I did have this open, but I decided to look at something naturally. But I feel so together today. All right, here we go. All right, let's look at the blue box artwork. I like the artwork. Now, I have to agree with Sean on this one. It is a very underrated module, but I did like the artwork on those. I had a lot of fun putting that together. I actually used my PDF and I scanned all the artwork. It was a lot of fun. Made clips of it. Now, the original box, I actually have a couple of these boxes. I did sell my second copy of this original box, but that's kind of what the box looks like. When are we going to see the G.I. Joe RPG and its expansion? Or if you're talking about the one from Renegade Games, I'm not really sure. I do have that, but it just inspired me to make my own military action game. We have started that campaign, and not this coming Monday, but the following Monday will be our second session on that. Now, I broke this out of the bag and board I have for these because I keep them in magazine bags and boards to keep them nice. Because I wanted to take a look at some of this stuff in here. Now, I could break out the PDF and show you, but you guys can read it if you want. But if you have a PDF, these are pretty easy to come by nowadays. As far as I'm pretty sure it's a drive-through RPG. Now, back in the day, they had fighting men, elves, halflings, and dwarves. Elves, halflings, and dwarves were their own class. Class and race were the same, except for humans had the ability to be fighting men, magic users, clerics, and thieves. Now, when they updated that, they started calling magic users mages in the second edition. But there was some pretty cool stuff in this. The blue box is what I like to call it. A lot of other people do too. Now, what I'm going to kind of do is kind of put these away as I go. If you have any questions about these, let me know, and I will see if I can answer them. Hello, Comic Cap Collectibles. Welcome, if I could speak today. So I'm going to open this box up and this back in here. Now, I do have a couple of copies of In Search of the Unknown, and I wanted to go over something that I found really interesting in this old B1 was where they have the pre-roll characters in the back, pre-generated characters. On the fighting men, let me see where those are. Yeah, here they are. Some of them had percentile strength. I don't know if you can see that, but let me see here. Like this dwarf here had 1854 strength, and so this book was compatible with AD&D First Edition, as well as the basic rules of the game, which I thought was kind of interesting. So you could actually use B1 as an AD&D module, and you can pretty much convert a lot of that old stuff. Hello, Kenneth Bird. Welcome. Well, I don't know if everyone's here tonight, but a few people are. It's good to see you. I might start doing these later, Sean. Get more people, it seems like, later on. So that's the old blue box. Now, what I wanted to do here at the last, after we kind of look at everything, is actually go through the second the red box revision, the second basic set, and actually do the solo adventure. That would I think that would be kind of fun, because these are my Thursday night reviews, so that's how we do that. Now, the next one we're going to look at is the BX basic, and I've like I said, I've got a video for each one of these books. So let's check out the artwork for that, and we'll see how that goes. Basic. Let me see. I want to make sure I'm getting the right one. D&D blue box. Expert rules, FtH B, D&D master, D&D basic rules. Okay, let me see here. Okay, this is the one. Here we go. Yeah, like I said, I love this old artwork. I always have a lot of fun with it. Yes, William Blake. Um, and yeah, like I was saying, Sean, I got my start with this very box set right here. I never owned this until a lot later, but the person who introduced me to Dungeons and Dragons, we started with this box set. I made a fighter, and I named him Thor, and he got chased around by a gray ooze, and then I went and saw this altar, and I guess I offended the deity, and he killed me because my name was Thor. It was kind of I think looking back, I think it was kind of a cheap trick from the DM, but you know, whatever. That's how games are. It didn't turn me off from playing the game though. Let's see. Bleecker Street Comics says the art is cool in these books. Yes, it is, and I got lots of it to look at tonight, so it should be a lot of fun. Oh yeah, I don't want to give him up, Sith Lordly. I really don't. I love the look of him. And this box set here came with Keep on the Borderlands. Now, I actually have a couple other copies of this module. I love this module. And in 2 weeks after Thanksgiving, I'm pretty sure. Let me double check that. On the 30th, yes, basically the last day of November, I'm going to do a review on this and really check it out really good and do an in-depth one. You got smoked. Yes, I got smoked, Ray. But like I said, I'm going to try to get these put back in their original boxes as I go here, so I don't get things confused. Now, the first D&D ever that I got was the Expert Rulebook. So let me put the artwork video up for that, and we'll check it out. And all the music in these videos is by my nephew Jay Taro. He does great stuff. So he's got a YouTube channel too. You check him out. Never Stop Us. You can find him in Jay Taro, I'm pretty sure. B2 Keep on the Borderlands. Never heard of it. Yeah, well, I was going to plug you in that video, Mages Musics, because I was going to recommend they go watch all your recaps, because those are some awesome videos, sir. You know what? That's going to be hard pressed. I'll play, but I really enjoy running my Len Harrell stuff. That is a good one. All right, so let's check out the old BX expert rules, D&D expert rules. Yeah, I think the music was pretty cool on that one. Uh, Jay Terrell's given me access to all his music, and that one right there, I don't think I'd used before, and it just seemed to fit the expert rulebook really well. Like I said, this is the one I started playing with. This is not my original copy. My original copy, I try to keep in the box, but I used it so much, it ended up falling apart, and I had to duct tape it together. Well, masking tape. Might as well be duct tape. And of course, pretty much the same thing happened to my X1, my original. It's just I've got a few copies of this too. Love X1. It's not an easy one for a beginning DM to run, but it sure is a lot of fun to run X1. Isle of Dread. A lot of people compare it to the King Kong. And let's see, Ray says, sorry, won't be too chatty working in the mud. Hey, don't worry about it, Ray. Glad you're here. Nice to see you. Anyway, this book, like I said, was the first one I ever purchased. I got it for my 12th birthday. And it was kind of funny because the very next year they put out all the new ones. And I went and bought those. And I didn't get the original the original basic set for a long time after that. Now, what I loved about X1, which I didn't do the artwork for this one because I'm going to be doing a review on this one next month in December, so that should be fun. What I really love about this one is all the new monsters and stuff they had in here. The Fanatin, and I'm sure a lot of people pronounce it different, but my favorite one was the Rakasta. That was just Catman, and I loved Catman so much, we incorporated Catman into our game system. Lenharu. So, there's the D&D expert rules. Now, I don't have my original expert rulebook box set, but I put it in my backup box for the original blue box. Now, I didn't want to continue on until I showed off these. I don't have a lot of these. These are the only two I have. But originally, they were D&D books were this size. And this is the Greyhawk supplement, which was the fourth one. They had three before this, like Fighting Men, Monsters, and Treasure. And then I think the other one, it was Monsters and Treasure, or Treasures and Monster. And then Wilderness Adventures was the third one, if I remember right. These are really hard to come by and expensive. But I also have Blackmore, and a buddy of mine just, when I had my comic book store, they just came in and gave these to me. It was really cool. Really nice gesture on their part. Appreciated that. And I've taken as good a care of them as I could over the years with all the moving I've done and everything. Now, I'm really going to get into this one a little bit later. Because like I said, I want to actually read through it and take a look at it and try to play the solo adventure. But we'll go ahead and look at the artwork right now for it, and I'll bring up the video for the red box, which everybody seems to love a lot. Yeah, Sean was saying it. No love for Elmore. Oh yes, sir. Elmore is one of the greats as far as I'm concerned, but he's coming up on the expert rule book too. So Jeff Elmore did the cover for this red box. Now my red box is in none too great shape, but I try to keep it together as best I can. I mean, I bought this when it came out in '83, so I've had this for a long time. Hello, Dave Collects. Yeah. And Bert's Beats 143. Hello, Bert. Greetings, guys. Glad you're here. We're looking at some old D&D stuff. Now, like I said, I'm gonna get back to this one, and I don't want to crush that box. So I don't have. It's odd that I don't have the box for either expert set. Both of those got messed up, I guess, because I liked them a lot. The expert set, when you had the expert set, you really didn't need the basic rules because all your level up, your experience information, everything was in both this one and the older version by Dave Cook, if I remember right, who did most of it. Now the revised version of the Isle Dread looks really nice. I like it. So, but we're going to be getting into that here as we continue on with some more artwork. Let's check out the expert rules with the blue box. Yeah, Israel. Is that how it always is? Heavy metal vomit party. That's kind of funny, Bert. All right, now I really didn't use this one as much, so that's why it's in really good shape from when I first bought it. I love the original one, and I use the hell out of it. Now, when I first got this one, by the time I got around to getting this one, because I had the original, so I got this red box and the older expert rules. And I just played the hell out of both of those. But I managed to pick this up right before I got the companion set, which I really like. Now these are really awesome. Now again, I'm going to include all the artwork from this in the Isle of Dread video, so that should be fun. All right, so like I said, I don't have a box for this, but I've been just keeping it. Let's see, I've been keeping it in the red box with the basic rules. Now, the companion set I really loved, and I ended up getting a second copy of this because I have my original, but I used it a lot. I didn't really get to play it a lot, but I used it a lot because there was a lot of cool stuff in there. The War Machine rules and a lot of the new weapons and equipment was really cool in that. Let me see. Spytick says, I think about the box of Metal Lizard Men minis that my friend from the Aquabats gave me. You know, they're saying hi. So let's check out my video for the companion rules. We're just moving right along here tonight. Doing a good job. Companion rules. I love this box set. I was happy to get it when it came out. I am muted. Sorry about that. So, Sean, I'll try to get a link to Jay Terrell's YouTube channel during the next video here. But let me look at the companion rules. Now, the only one that was set up different was the expert rule book. It was just a rule book and had the DM section in the back, set up just like the original expert rules. They pretty much didn't do much for it, which is probably why I didn't use it as much as some of these. Thought you were losing your hearing. Sorry, I thought I had unmuted myself. Sorry, guys. A lot when you play a clip, it just unmutes it for you. So I got spoiled by that during our Fridays from the Hilt video last week. But this was really cool. Like I said, the War Machine rules are in here for miniature and mass battles. So it's pretty cool. Still holds up. After that was the Master Players book and Master DM's book. Now, I do have the Master Players screen, but I didn't bring that out. I didn't grab any of my accessories. I just kind of wanted to focus on the rule books tonight. Now, let me play the video with the artwork for the Masters, and I'll see if I can get that link for you, Sean. All right, so we got the companion Master rules. Here we go. Okay, I remember to unmute myself. All right, yeah, I got that link up there, and it's. I'll put it up one more time for Jay Tarot. Now, like I said, he used to call himself Sick Intellect, but he was with Never Stop Us, and also P. Jones or something like that. Yeah, I had one of those rap handles, you know. Not something I was ever into, but I still love his music. Elf Dwarf and Halfling always hanging out because humans be mean. Yeah, that's probably true. All right. So, anyway, the Master Rules, it introduced the steps and paths to immortality. And I never guessed that the very next year they were going to put out the Immortal set. And I don't know many people who got to play the Immortal rules. If anyone has, let me know. But I did do a full book on the Immortals. Now, I also included the artwork for the first two Immortal adventures because I have those. But I didn't bring them out tonight to show you because I've got the artwork. So that's all we really need. So let me play this last video here, and then we'll get on to see if we can do this solo adventure. Yeah, we got the Immortal rules. Love to look at some artwork and then get into some gaming. Now, the immortal rules were really hard to fathom. Aaron Alston, who put it together, I'm pretty sure. I'll double check real quick. He was a really brilliant author. And let me see. Oh, I'm sorry, it was Harold Johnson and Frank Menser. Frank Menser, definitely, who did a lot of these D&D books too with Dave Cook. But these rules are definitely designed by somebody who really enjoyed math. Let's just put it that way. I mean, there's a lot of detail that goes into the characters and everything of this. And for me, as a 14, 15-year-old, it was a bit much. So I made a character, and then I was like, okay, no one's ever going to want to play this. And I was kind of right. Not many people I know of ever even played these rules, but they have the DM's rules and players' rules. And it basically it was the same game. It was still D&D, but it was some of the rules were so different. It was just hard to keep up with. Ray says, me think Rocky the Raccoon scared off darkness. He hasn't been back for seconds. Oh, that's too bad. Darkness. Yeah, watch Rodini's channel. Rodini's got some pretty cool wildlife videos. Okay, so I'm going to put these back in the box. If you guys have any questions about any of this, again, let me know, and I will see if I can answer them, because I do know a lot about all this old D&D stuff. I used to play it constantly, 2-3 times a week most of the time. And in the 90s, when I got into 882nd edition, I was at least playing twice a week with groups of 7 to 10 people all the time. It was a lot of fun. All right, Bert, you take it easy and have a good night. But we're just getting around to the good stuff, because we're gonna see if we can actually read some of this and play the game like it says we can do. Now, I remember doing this as a kid, but I haven't even looked at it or read it. I looked at it a little bit earlier tonight, but so I wanted to see what I needed. So all it's telling me is all I need is a piece of paper and a 20-sided dice. But I've got all my dice out here. I got some of my 20-sided die, and so I'm ready to go. And I'm left-handed, so this should work out pretty good. Instead of doing homework. Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. Instead of doing homework, we played D&D. That's pretty funny, Rodini. Thank you for that, Ray. Oh, brings back fond memories, all this old D&D stuff. So, if you guys are ready, we'll get into. Let me put on a little bit of background music. I'll turn the volume down here to about 25. And we'll just put on some of Jay Taro's beats here. I'll put on this one, and we'll see if I got the volume right. Maybe that's a little too low. All right. Taught reading, writing, and arithmetic. It really did. I encourage my players to read the book, because I had read them, and it was like, oh, I need to read it to play. So, okay, so let me see what we got here. I think that might be a little too loud. So somewhere in the middle there. All right. If it'll stay. There we go. Just enough to take off the edge if there's any silence. Okay. Let's start here. Now, instead of reading this part, I'm just going to summarize. It basically tells you what Dungeons and Dragons is, and that this is a solo adventure. And we'll start with what role will I play? Imagine it is another place, another time. The world is much like ours was. Long ago, with knights and castles and no science or technology, no electricity, no modern comforts of any kind. Imagine dragons are real. Werewolves are real. Monsters of all kinds live in caves and ancient ruins. And magic really works. Imagine you are a strong hero, a famous poor fighter. Day by day, you explore the unknown, looking for monsters and treasure. The more you find, the more powerful and famous you become. Okay, in the game, we need some way of describing your character. The fighter you will pretend to be, we can say the fighter is strong, fairly nimble, not too smart. But we need to describe the character a little better than that. We call these descriptions abilities, strength, intelligence, and others. We measure each one with a number called an ability score. The highest score possible is 18, and the least is 3, for reasons we'll discuss later. You are a strong fighter. Your strength is 17, nearly the highest possible. You are fairly nimble, which means that you can move swiftly. The name for this ability is dexterity. As a fighter, you don't need a high dexterity score. Your dexterity is 11, which is a little above average. I like the way they're going through this like that, telling you exactly what it is. So a first-time player who's about 10 to 12 years old, which is who these rules are made for. Now, they used to have on the box, all these old boxes, ages 10 and up. So a 10-year-old could easily understand this, I think, if they could read really well. Which, when I was a kid, I know that most of us could. Reading was definitely stressed at school. So I am going to take this and abbreviate here and write down that my strength is 17 and my dexterity is 11. Okay. Let's see here. A fighter often isn't very smart. Your character isn't as smart as you are, but isn't stupid either. Let's say your intelligence is 9. That's not too dumb. Which is a little below average. They're guessing 10 is average, I'm thinking 10 to 11. Now make a note of your ability scores anywhere in the middle of your sheet of paper. I already did, so we're good. You also need equipment for adventuring. You are carrying a backpack, other items, very similar to what you would carry when camping. Some of these items include food, water, rope, a lantern, and so forth. For now, just assume you have everything you need to survive in the wilderness. With monsters around, you need protection. You are wearing armor made of links of chain called chainmail, and a helmet. You want a beautiful sword and have a dagger tucked into one boot, just in case. You know how to use all of your equipment properly. If you like, you can give your fighter a name. It doesn't matter whether you are male or female. All set? Let's go. So, I think Ray said it best. Let's call him Bono. Because that's kind of what he looks like. Well, let me see. Tiger wants magic missile. We'll have that with a fighter. So swag missile is out of the question. And, of course, Sith Lord Lee gets royalties every time swag casts magic missile. Okay. All right. Your first adventure. Now, I already showed you all the artwork, so we don't need to hold up the book and do that much. And let me see. Tiger says, love it, would be shaped differently, but I'm too ladylike to say what. Okay. Moving right along. Your hometown is just a small place with dirt roads. You set off one morning and hike to the nearby hills. There are several caves in the hills. Caves where treasures can be found, guarded by monsters. You have heard that a man named Bargle may also be found in these caves. Bargle is sort of a bandit who has been stealing money, killing people, and terrorizing your town. If you can catch him, you can become a hero. As you approach the entrance, you look around. It's a nice day, and everything seems peaceful. You know that things aren't peaceful in caves where monsters live, and it's usually dark, too. So you get out your lantern and a tinderbox. Matches haven't been invented yet. So the box has flint and steel. Carefully, you light the wick. The flame sputters a bit, but the oil soon burns with a soft glow. With your sword ready, step into the cave. It's dark and musty inside. A passage leads inward for the entrance, going deeper into the hill. It looks like the only way to go, so you head in that direction. watching carefully for bats and other nasty creatures. Bats are really nasty, oh yes. Ray says he only looks like Bono in that one drawing. This is true, but we'll call him Bono anyway. Okay, now I wanted to double check here. Yeah, this is by Frank Mentzer. That's what I thought. Frank Mentzer pretty much revised all the old basic D&D and took what Dave Cook and Garrett Gygax and Arnson did in the original stuff and really made it more concise. Okay, so here we go. Suddenly you see a goblin. He is smaller than you are and looks like an ugly little man with gray skin. He sees you, gives a scream, waves his sword and attacks. You dodge his blow and raise your sword to swing. If the goblin hadn't attacked right away, you might have tried talking to him, but now you have no choice. You must fight for your life. Okay. How to hit. In the game, whenever you try to hit a monster, there is a chance that you will miss, and of course, a chance that you will hit. It is very hard for monsters to hit your fighter because of your fine chainmail armor. Goblin isn't as hard to hit because his armor is not nearly as good. To swing at the monster, you must make a hit roll. Roll the 20-sided die. If you roll an 11 or less, your character misses the goblin. If you roll a 12 or higher, you hit. The number is part of the combat rules. You will learn more about it as you continue. All right, let's roll. A 2! Oh no, I missed. If you miss, the goblin tries again but misses. You can swing again. Roll again to see if you hit. 2 over. Now that's a 19, so that's a hit. If you hit the goblin, he screams and runs away down the corridor and into the darkness. Goblins can see in the dark. You have wounded him. You keep missing, keep rolling. The goblin is trying to hit you, but you keep dodging the blows. Remember, if you hit the goblin, he runs away. So it took us 2 tries, but we got it. We got it. He ran away. He runs away. Damage and hit points. In the game, when any creature is hit, either monster or character, damage is caused. There is a way of keeping track of damage called hit points. The number of hit points is the amount of damage that a creature can take before being killed. Hit points can be any number. The more hit points a creature has, the harder it is to kill. We often use an abbreviation for hit points. It is HP. Yep, better part of valor. Yes, that's right. Okay. Okay, if your fighter starts with 8 hit points, okay, so I'm going to write that down, and I know they're going to tell me to, but I'll get it done. It still has all 8, since the goblin never hit you. He may have hit your armor or shield, but never got through your protection. So these attacks are still called misses. They didn't actually damage your character. Now, see, that's kind of the way I took that to heart, and when we set up Lidharo, everything was put into a defensive rating. And if they don't score a hit against your defensive rating, they may still hit your armor or something. They don't do enough damage to get through that armor. That's kind of the way I always looked at it too. So I blame Frank Mentzer. Okay, Constitution, your health. Your fighter is healthy and can fight a long time without tiring. This ability measured by another is measured by another ability score called Constitution. Your Constitution is 16, well above average, but not perfect. So we'll go Con 16. So we got 4 out of 6 of our stats. Your Constitution affects your hit points. If you have a low score, you might only have 2 or 3 hit points. On the other hand, if you had an 18 Constitution, you might have as many as 10 hit points or more. Write your new ability score under the others on your sheet. 16 Constitution. Near the top of the page, above the ability scores, make a note of your hit points. Points 8. Now back to your adventure. All right, we're ready to keep going. You stop for a moment to be sure that you are all right, and then continue down the corridor. There are no side passageways, no other way to go. Ahead, the corridor leads into a wider area, which we call a chamber. You carefully approach the chamber, shining your lantern around to see if anything is there. A hiss comes from a corner of the room to your left, and there you see a huge rattlesnake, almost 10 feet long. Near it on the floor are hundreds of gold and silver coins. I think we're going to go with this statement right here. It's time to go. No. A 10-foot long snake? Oh, man. All right, let's see what we do here. Talking to a snake will do no good at all. And you can't sneak past it. Again, you must fight. For this battle, you will keep track of hit points. The snake has 3. On your sheet of paper near the bottom, write snake 3. Okay. Snake 3. Okay. Leaving some room to keep track of the snake's damage, yes. This time you will need to roll an 11 or higher to hit the snake. It's slower and easier to hit than the goblin was. But the snake has a better chance of hitting you than the goblin did because it's bigger and tougher. If you hit the snake, cross off the 3 and write a 2 next to it. Oh, we're only getting 1 point of damage each hit. Danger noodle for Jake. Okay. That's a 13. I call that a hit. Okay, so we're going to mark off a hit. Okay. The snake then bites at you and hits. At the top of the sheet, cross off the 8 after the words hit points and write a 7 next to it. Wow. You're already taking damage here. While playing a D&D game yourself, you should use this method to keep track of your hit points and the hit points of the monster you meet. Poison. This is a poisonous snake, which can be very dangerous. In the game, there is a way of finding out whether the poison hurt you or not. Roll the 20-sided die again. If you roll 12 or higher, that means that you dodged before the snake can inject its poison in you. But you still take damage from the bite. If you roll 11 or less, your fighter takes 2 or more points of damage from the poison. Cross off the 7 hit points and write 5. All right, let's see. Oh, that's a 16. Nice. You made this roll to see if you saved yourself from trouble. This roll is called a saving throw and will be used later in many other situations in the game. Your fighter swings again. Remember, if you roll 11 or higher, you hit and can subtract 1 hit point from the snake. If you miss, do nothing. All right. That's going to be a 15, so I hit again. So that takes us down to 1 point for the snake. Let's see. The snake bites your fighter again. You lose 1 more hit point and must make another saving throw. Remember, if you roll 12 or higher, you don't lose the extra points. If you roll an 11 or less, you lose another 2 hit points from poison damage. I took the 1 off for the bite, and that's a 7. Oh no, I'm taking 2 more points for poison damage. We're not going to make it here, guys. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, you can now swing again. If the snake still lives, it bites and misses. So let's see if I hit. Oh, I did miss. So the snake bites and misses this time. And in this battle, the snake won't hit anymore. In a regular game, it might kill your fighter before you hit it at all. The snake will keep attacking, but it will keep missing. Your fighter may have to swing many times. But sooner or later, you will kill the snake. Make all the practice rolls you need. When the snake's hit points become 0, the snake is dead. If your hit points ever reach 0, you're dead. There's a 15, so that finishes the snake off. Okay. You're hurt, but there is nothing you can do about it right now. The damage your fighter has taken can be healed by a few days' rest. The dead snake is not dangerous, so you get to work. Pick up the many coins and put them in a cloth sack you brought with you. You are doing this, you notice. As you are doing this, you notice beside the gold, there are 3 types of silvery coins. Most are silver, but others are more valuable metals called electrum and platinum. This is a rich treasure. Snakes usually have none. The treasure probably belonged to someone else who tried to kill the snake, but failed. Let's see. Death by viper? Almost. Here's the first problem with this otherwise good intro. It's not teaching you to run away. I agree. That's what I said earlier, Sean. I completely agree. They're just trying to give you a feel for how combat works, and I think it did fairly well in that regard. Sometimes treasure can be hidden. Looking carefully around the room, you find a small gem. A pearl in one corner. It may be worth 100 gold pieces itself. After resting a bit, you catch your breath. You shine the lantern around and see another corridor leading further into the darkness. Looking back the way you came, you see the light of day shining in the cave entrance in the distance. It looks tempting, but you remind yourself that you are a courageous fighter and shouldn't run away just because of a little fighting. There you go, Sean. They covered that a little bit. Sorry, stepped out to take out the recycling, so I missed a bit. That's okay, bud. Tiger says she eats the steak. Well, a tiger would. Okay. All right, let me see. You carefully start down the corridor into the unknown, your lantern held high and sword ready. The corridor leads to another small cave as you approach. You hear a voice and see a light. You pull the shutters closed on your lantern so you can hide better. You carefully peek around the corner. To your right, sitting by the cave wall, is a beautiful woman wearing armor like yours. She has no sword but has a rod with a metal ball on one end. This is a weapon called a mace. A lit lantern is on the floor next to her. She seems to be meditating or praying. You decide she might not wish to be disturbed, but as you try to quietly tiptoe past, she looks up and says, "Greetings, friend. Looking for the goblin? You might." "Oh, you are hurt. May I help?" She watches you carefully in case you are dangerous, but seems to want to help. You apologize for disturbing her, but you wonder what she knows about the goblin, and most of all, how she can help you. But wait, she might be an enemy. Keeping your sword ready, you move closer. She stands and says, "My name is Alina. I'm a cleric, an adventurer like yourself. I live in the town nearby and came here seeking monsters and treasure. Do you know about clerics?" Yeah, we know what's coming up, Sean, but let's not spoil it. And save some rations, and yes, snakes are good eating. Okay. Stop and imagine what your character would say. Back in town, she might be one of your neighbors. You're not sure, but you don't know about clerics. After listening to what she says, well, the goblin went that-a-way. It points toward a corridor leading out of the room. He came through here so fast I almost didn't see him. You hit him. Good for you. Goblins are nasty. Since you don't know about clerics, let me explain. Clerics are trained in fighting like you, but we can also cast spells. I meditate and the knowledge of spells enters my mind. One of the spells I can cast right now is a curing spell, and you look like you need it. Yes, sir. Here it comes again. What's she doing without going all out alone? She's an adventurer. She's a brave adventurer. Yes, sir. Hold on, man. Stay strong. For those of you who don't know, you'll find out coming up. All right. Spell casting, you've heard of it, but know nothing about it. You are still cautious, but you watch as the cleric says a few words and touches you lightly on the arm. Magically, your wounds are healed. On your sheet of paper, cross out your hit points and write down 8. Yay, we're back up to 8. The full amount you started with. Feel better, she asked? Would you care to sit and rest a bit? I'd like to tell you a few things that you will need to know later. Sit down, happy to rest, but keeping your sword handy in case of trouble. She sits down next to her lantern. If you didn't know about clerics, you probably don't know about magic users. They are adventurers like you and me, but they study only spells and rarely fight. They have different spells than we clerics do. Instead of meditating, they learn their spells from books. There are a few magic users living in town, but not many. Let's see. You say, Tiger says, if she's a succubus, we need Swag's magic missile. Ray says she's not alone, she's with her god. That's right. Let's see. So Sean says, so let's unpack. She can cast is first level. Eddie says one of the spells she can cast, meaning she can cast more. Therefore, must be level 3. Good guess. Ray's not letting Swag near my darkness. Let's see. Sean says, magic users rarely fight. I know a few brawling spellcasters who disagree. Me too. And many spells just one time. Yep. Now, I agree, there are some brawling spellcasters, but in general, that was a trope. It still is in a lot of ways. Okay. If you are attacked by a bad magic user, you might be able to avoid the magic, but it's harder than avoiding poison. Spells can be helpful, but they can be very dangerous too. By the way, that looked like a snake bite I cured. That can be very bad because most poison is deadly. You were lucky that it didn't cause more damage. Some other creatures also have special attacks like poison. Some can paralyze. Some can even turn you to stone by just looking at you. Unless you look away in time, and dragons are the worst, they can breathe fire, acid, or other deadly things. You can never avoid all the damage from their breath, but you can lessen it if you cover up in time. Your character has different saving throws for each of the special attack forms. These will be explained later. Charisma, your personality. Your fighter gets along fairly well with the cleric. She was friendly right away. This is the effect of another ability score, your charisma. Since your fighter is a likable person, your charisma score is above average. 14. Well, that is pretty awesome. All we're missing here is wisdom. Okay, if you had a low score, the cleric would have been very cautious. It might not have offered to cure you at all. Sean says, Mr. Menser, tisk, venom not poisoned in this case. You're right, sir. Charisma, wee! Yes. Yeah, he says, 14 to 17 is just off +1. Yep, it sure was. Okay, wisdom, your common sense. The cleric is very wise. This is another ability score, different from your intelligence. For example, imagine you feel wet drops on your arm. Your intelligence will tell you that it's raining. Your wisdom will tell you to go indoors to avoid catching a cold. I look at it as memory and common sense. Common sense is wisdom. Intelligence is memory. Right? The tiger says. Okay, your fighter is not very wise. Your wisdom score is 8. Well, that's not that bad. Not great either. Okay. The cleric has a wisdom of 17, but is fairly weak, with a strength of 9. Each sub-adventurer has different specialties. Magic users, for example, have high intelligence, but often low strength. Put these 2 ability scores on your character sheet. Sharing adventures. As your fighter talks with the cleric, you get to know each other a little better. She offers to come along to help in the adventure, although this means that the treasure should be split between you. It also means that together you can defeat more dangerous monsters and find more treasure. And 2 adventurers have a better chance of success than either does alone. Decided that it would be a good idea, and together you set off down the corridor. But we always fall for Lena's wiles. They're not wild. She's really a good person. All right. Side by side, you quietly walk down the dark passageway. You see another corridor branching off to the right, 20 feet ahead. Keeping your lanterns half shuttered so you can see what you are doing without attracting much attention. Move up the corridor to peek around the corner. 4 beast-like humans in tattered clothes are standing in a group about 10 feet away down this side corridor. They make no noise at all, quiet as the dead. They look like they're waiting for some poor victim to come along. Let's see, Alina broke the hearts of many young lads. Yes, she did, sir. Me included. Before you can speak, the cleric touches your arm and points back the way you came. The 2 of you back up a few feet so the creatures won't hear you. They're ghouls, she whispers. If one hits you, it can paralyze you. Ghouls are undead monsters, very nasty things, neither dead nor alive, but something horribly in between. We clerics have some power over these creatures of darkness. Follow me and wish for luck. You move forward again, but with the cleric leading the way. Peeking around the corner, you see the ghouls. Luckily, they don't seem to have heard your whispers. The cleric pulls a necklace out from under her armor, and you see that there is a symbol of one of the town churches on her silver chain. She boldly steps out, holds up the symbol, and says harshly, "Be gone, vile things!" Let's see. Ray says, "Let's split the treasure fairly. I take as much as I can carry. If there's anything left, it's yours." I don't know how fair that is, Ray. Okay, when she steps out, the ghouls quickly turn to attack. But now, as she thrusts the symbol out, the ghouls pause, and suddenly, in a rush, they scramble away down the side corridor into the darkness, and all in dead silence. "Don't bother to chase them," she mutters. "As I said, they can be quite dangerous, and we should continue on our way. I was lucky to turn them, and it might not work again." As you continue down the corridor together, she explains, "We call this turning undead. You see, only clerics can do it, and sometimes it doesn't work. Ghouls are only one of many kinds of undead monsters. There are also skeleton zombies and much worse. If you had gone alone, you could easily have been ambushed and probably slain." Let's see. Tiger says, "How about you carry the treasure and I carry you?" And Verdini says, "Even better." Let's see. Sean says, "Level 3 cleric turns ghouls on a 7, so that tracks." Keeping the rules in mind, huh, Sean? Okay. As you continue down the corridor together, she explained, okay, yeah, I already read that. "Let's hurry because the turning only lasts for a few minutes. There are too many of them for us to handle." You see a door ahead to the right. This is unusual in caves, and you approach it slowly and quietly. The corridor continues past it into the darkness. Sean says, "You're darn tootin', he's keeping track of the rules." And Tiger says, she's the "I won't let you die" character. Yep, she's the save your ass character. Okay. The other example, okay. See the door, corridor continues past in the darkness. Together you examine the door. It is made of wood with heavy iron bands across it. The hinges seem to be on the other side. A large keyhole is below the curved metal handle. "I don't see anything dangerous," says the cleric. Then, "I don't know much about the traps you sometimes find on doors. It's worth a try." She tries to unlock it, but the door seems to be locked. "Should you try to force it open?" she asks. You back up a bit. With a short run, slam into the door. But try as you might, you can't break it open. Trying to impress her. "What a pity," murmurs Alina. "There's probably some nice treasure in there, but we can't get to it. We need a thief." I have a cat.
She says hi to Rue.
Oh, Rue. She's saying hi to Ray. All right. Seeing the puzzled look on your face, she explains. "You may think that thieves are bad, but many of them aren't. These are adventurers too. Some of them are quite nice folks, really. You do not have to keep an eye on your coin purse, but a thief can't. You do have to keep an eye on your coin purse, but a thief can be very helpful finding traps, opening locks, climbing walls, and doing other things." Hello, Rook. Welcome. Nice to see you. And Sean says, "You need a thief just as the black cat sneaks in a frame." Yes, this is true. And everybody's saying hi. Okay, cool. All right, let's continue on. "I'm sure we could do better if we had a thief along, and a magic user could help too. I usually only go adventuring with those types, plus a couple of big fighters like you to handle the rough stuff. Unfortunately, nobody else wanted to come along this time." Apparently, she lost a few fighters. You try the door again, but it won't open. So with a sigh of regret, the two of you continue down the corridor. The corridor curves to the left, and you see a light ahead. You stop and listen and hear voices. One sounds like a goblin, but the other... one sounds like a man, but the other sounds like a goblin. "Get up, you wimply, growls the man. "Who else did you see besides this fighter and a cleric?" "Please, master, don't hurt," whimpers the goblin. "Nobody else, nobody. I hurt the fighter real bad. I come to tell you right away. The goblin's lies don't seem to fool the human. Get up, I say, or I'll turn you into a toad. You probably ran away without even trying. Nobody else. You're sure? Nobody else, Master, I swear. Welcome, Renee from Rascal Lucy. You got to see Luna, cool. All right, let's get back into this. Hurry up, I say. I just added that, or I say. Okay, hurry up. They could still be in trouble. Perhaps we could trick them and kill them without a fight. Alita taps your arm once again. You back up to discuss the situation. I recognize that man's voice, she says. It's Bargle. One of those bad magic users. He has probably cast a spell on the goblin to force it to serve him. If we go back, we should be safe. A lot of us forgot. Ghouls are back there. If Bargle only has one goblin, we should risk this battle, rather than face all those undead. Besides, he's not ready for us, yet. Listening carefully, you hear the magic user and the goblin planning how to trick you and Alita. Two of you also make plans. The magic user is the most dangerous, and Alita will try to fight his spells with hers. Your job is to fight the goblin. As you return, you hear a spell being cast up ahead. You peek around the corner and see a tall, bearded human in a black robe standing in a room. The goblin is crouched by one wall, watching. The robe magic user is moving his hands and saying words like, words you don't understand, and suddenly he disappears. The goblin cackles with glee, and says, "Ah, Master, it worked! Nobody can see you now! And what a surprise those nasty people will have, and I'm next! Make me invisible too, Master!" Cleric whispers, "Now, before they can do any more." And you charge into the room together. The goblin jumps up and meets your charge with a swing of its own sword. It misses. Okay. Sean says, why are the villains referring to the two other by their classes? No wonder Bartle's so dangerous. He's able to meta reference. Okay. The goblin has 2 hit points, and you still need to roll a 12 or better to hit. Roll the die and keep track of the battle in the same way as you did with the snake. Okay, so let's see if I hit the goblin. No, I did not. As you battle the goblin, Alita looks wildly around for the invisible magic user, waving her mace to and fro in the air. Seems to hit something. You hear a deep grunt. She keeps waving her mace, but without further success. So she stops and casts a spell. You don't see what her spell does, so you concentrate on fighting. Now, I rolled a 5, so I missed. The goblin hits your fighter for 2 points of damage. Ouch. Now we're down to 6. You only do 1 point of damage when you hit compared to the goblin's 2. Well, the goblin only has 2 points, so it's a fair fight. Roll again to see if you hit the goblin. If you miss, the goblin swings and misses again. Apparently, Frank Menser rolled addition 1 for the goblin in this battle. Okay, that's a 16, so I hit. So Mr. Goblin with 2 hit points. Goblin, 2. You now have 1. Okay. Okay, if you miss, the goblin swings and misses again, but I didn't. So either way, he was a miss. Alita can't find Bargle and is starting to look worried. Suddenly, the sound of a spell comes from a far corner of the room. The cleric turns and runs in that direction, waving her mace and shouting. The black-robed magic user appears in the same corner as the spell noise, with a glowing arrow floating in the air beside him. He points at Alita. The arrow shoots out and hits her. She wails and falls with a sigh, collapsing in the middle of the room. The glowing arrow disappears. Let's see. Of course, she waving around to see if it's magical tiger. Then we got oof from Ray. So, if your fighter hasn't slain the goblin yet, roll again. But while you are swinging, the goblin hits you again, causing 2 more points of damage. Remember to keep track of hit points for both the goblin and your fighter. So I'm down to 4 now. Let me see if I hit Mr. Goblin. That is a 20. Too bad we do not have crits in this game. No, my childhood trauma all over again. Will Alita ever fight Beast? Not in this game, sir. Where did it go? I don't know where the childhood went, sir. If that's what you're referring to. All right, so I hit the goblin and I killed him. All right. Remember to keep track of hit points for both the goblin and your fighter. Your hit points reach 0. The enemies win this battle. You will not see home again. You are still fighting. The magic user stays back in the corner, thinking about what spell to throw next. Roll again. The goblin says, okay. The goblin started the battle with 2 hit points. So the second time you hit the creature, his hit points reach 0, and he shrinks and falls down on the floor. You overcome 1 enemy, but the magic user remains. Okay, you kept yours in your pocket. And Ray says he found peace with her god. Okay. She found peace with her god. There's an indie module I picked up a while back called the Shrine of Saint Alita, named for her, obviously. That sounds cool. Let's see. We lost the safety net. Yes, we did. Okay, so watching you carefully. When the goblin falls, the magic user starts looking worried. Watching you carefully, he starts saying magic words, waving his hands. He's casting a spell at you. You run at him, hoping for a chance to swing before he can complete the spell. But it's too late. A magical force touches your mind. Roll the die once again. You must make a saving throw against the spell. If you roll a 16 or less, the magic takes effect. Read the next section. Okay, so I got to roll a 17 or better. See what we get. A 12. I don't think that counts. No faith points in this game either. That wouldn't have mattered anyway. Like number 16. Yes, sir. Okay. You must make a saving throw against the spell. Okay. The magic takes effect. Read ending 1. Now, if we could have avoided it, we could have read ending 2. I don't think I ever got to read ending 2, except on my own. Okay, let me see. John says she must have really whiffed on her hit points. 3rd level cleric has an average 3d6, average 10, but a magic missile does 7 max. Yep. Unless he had 2, but he didn't. They only said 1. Ray says when he gets home, he's going to pour some beer out for Saint Alita. Okay. You missed the saving throw. As you get near the magic user, a funny feeling comes over you. Come on, funny feeling. Why does he look so bad, in fact? Margot seems to be a pretty nice guy. You think you used to be friends, but you were not sure just where or when. Feeling better, he asked. And you were overcome with rage for a moment. Are you okay now? Sure, you replied. Somewhat confused. You seem to be okay. Margot, old pal, and I only took a little damage from the goblin. Say, I saw some ghouls back there. We should get moving. Indeed, replies Bargle. Let's see. Tiger says, so how did she outlive her previous party? That's a good question. Yeah, she was hurt in a previous adventure, but why did she heal herself? She had plenty of time. She healed me. Okay, let's see here. Indeed, replies Bargle. Let's pack up the goodies and move on. Together you collect the treasure, a small bag for the goblin, and a larger one for the cleric. Bargle picks up a black velvet bag, explaining that he dropped it while he was fighting the goblin. As you get ready to leave, you blurt out, shouldn't we take the cleric's body back? She helped me out. That would be nice, Bargle replies. But we're carrying all we can. We take our risk. We all take our risk here in the dungeon. Yeah, Sean, I don't think she seemed hurt either. Something seems wrong about that. You argue with Bargle a bit, but he convinces you that nothing could be done for her, and bringing her along could slow you down. Maybe enough that the ghouls would catch up, so you'd best head off down the corridor, as if the best of friends. The corridor leads to another room, which is empty. Search it together, nothing can be found. But looking down the next passage, you see a light. Bargle, you exclaim, look here. Ah, I see, he says. That must be it. Our way out. We're in good shape now. Lead on, fierce fighter. I shall watch for the ghouls. You head down the corridor. Grace says, wounds on the inside. Yes, sir. You head down the corridor towards the light. Sure enough, it's a side passage leading out of the hill into the sunlight. As your stomach grumbles, you remember that it's afternoon. You miss lunch and all the excitement. Shall we head back, you ask, as you squint out into the daylight? Much brighter than your lantern. Surely, he replies. As you head outside, you start to talk about how hungry you are. Bargle's reply isn't in a language you can understand. You stop and turn and see him softly chanting a spell, waving his hands at you. Before you can ask what's going on, you begin to feel very sleepy. Everything goes black. Yep, she could only heal the young man. Maybe she only had the one spell, which would have only made her second level. But she said spells, so sounded like she was third level to me too, Sean. Should have eaten the steak. Ray says rules of the order, yeah. All right, let's see what we got here. Something lands on your face and you start to wake. Opening your eyes, you see a leaf apparently fallen from the tree above you. You are lying in a cave and it's late afternoon. You can make it back to town if you hurry, but suddenly you remember what happened. Excuse me. Bargle, the fight with the goblin, the lead of falling, the strange, bad, but nice feeling about the magic user. Horrors, you were enchanted! And where is the treasure? You get up quickly, brushing the leaves off your face and equipment. Perhaps Bargle was afraid to kill you. He just stole all that he could find. Or more likely, Bargle was scared away by something before he could slit your throat. Let's see. You wake up full of regret. Yes, sir. Your dagger is missing and some food, but your sword is in its sheath and your pack is still there. One sack remains, and from the pain in your neck, you must have been sleeping on it. It contains some of the coins you found by the snake and the tiny gem. The rest is missing. You remember what happened to poor Lita. You should take her back to town. They might be able to help. And even if it's too late, you should get a proper burial. As you prepare to return to the cage, you find your lamp has gone out. The oil has all burned away. Oh, it was all a dream? Don't we wish? I was only going to say something, but I got in trouble last week. All right, let's see. There is still one flask in your pack, oil flask in your pack. So you refill the lantern, light it with your tinderbox, and head back into the darkness. You pass through the one empty room and then find the bodies of the cleric and the goblin in the next. But you see dark, quiet shapes in the darkness beyond. It's the ghouls. Quickly, you put the cleric's body over your shoulder and run for your life. The ghouls follow, snapping at your heels. You can't move as fast as usual with the weight of the cleric on your shoulder, but you win the desperate race. You get outside once again. You pause for a moment, out of breath. Looking back, you see the ghouls in the cave, but they don't seem to be coming out. Then you remember Alita's words, creatures of darkness. Maybe they hate sunlight. They only come out at night. You better hurry. Get back to town before dark. Let's see. Tiger says you got chat points by all the players last week. Yep. Rookaball says thumbs up. And then we got Reniti laughing. And it's the ghouls. And everybody saying hi. That's always nice. All right. It's hard to run with a cleric on your shoulder. I just love that pick. And I know I had a better one in the video, so. But that one, you running with the cleric over your shoulder. Okay. It's hard to run with a cleric over your shoulder, but you finally get back just as the sun goes down. Once there, you take her body back to the church. It's too late to help her, but they can give her a proper burial. They thank you for your kindness and offer a small bottle as a reward. What is it, you ask? It's a magical potion, of course, he exclaims. It's a potion of healing. If you are hurt, you can drink this and be cured, somewhat like our magical curing spells. It's a nice magical treasure. Save it for an adventure in your future, in case a cleric you are traveling with runs out of spells. It's the least we can do. Tiger says, see, you hold the treasure, I hold you. Yep. The clerics thank you again for your help, and you thank them for theirs. You leave the church and head for your home on the other side of town, thinking about your adventure and all that you have learned. Now pretend you made the saving throw and read the next section to see what might have happened. If you have already read the next section, skip to the winning section afterward. So, All right, we're going to read that part too. See how it's supposed to be part of the adventure. We're going to pretend we made the saving throw, which we did not. At a 16, 17 or better, that was crazy. Okay. Bargle's magic doesn't seem to work. He pauses, surprised as you swing. Roll the die. If you roll an 8 or higher, you hit. Roll a 7 or less means that you missed. If you can get close to them, magics are often easy to hit. They are not very dangerous in a close fight. All right. Okay, I rolled a 6, so that's a miss. Okay. Let's see. Sean says, bold of you to assume that you'll be traveling with a cleric. Players are notorious for not wanting to play them. I used to always play the cleric, dude, because I wanted to have one in the party. Let's see. Ray says, in case the cleric can't do the job, that one job, yeah. Tiger says she liked that. I liked the cleric. I did too. Well, we all love to lead as teenage boys. Yeah, mages. Yep, that's right, Ray. All right, let's see what we got here. I did not hit. If you hit, the magic user gets a cry and falls dead. You have 1. If you miss, Marco screams and runs down the next corridor into the darkness. You start after him, but then you stop. Who knows what magical powers that man might have? Waiting there to trap you. Better to see if Alita is alive and rest of it. You do want the cleric to gently turn her over. Alas, Margot's magical spell has taken her life. Mourning the loss of your newfound friend, you decide to take her back to town for a proper burial. You tidy her up while keeping an eye out for monsters and listening carefully in case Margot comes back, but nothing happens. Let me see. Tiger says, we had a player who loved playing a cleric that couldn't heal. Yeah, that's a typical thing. That's AD&D 2nd edition made that very possible with specialty priests. Sean says, of course, even if you have one, a first level cleric can't cast spells. That's right. Ray says, it looks like darkness returned and got its vittles while I was rolling in the mud. Well, cool. Tiger says that's good too. Cool. All right, let's see here. The goblin had very little treasure, just a few copper pieces in a small bag. Searching the room, you found another bag. A finer one of black velvet. It must be Bargle's, dropped in the heat of the battle. Opening it, you find several valuable gems in a small bottle. Put the treasure away, planning to examine the bottle later. Nothing else of value is in this room. You pick up the poor cleric and carry her on one shoulder. Would you continue down the dark corridor or head back the way you come? You came. Suddenly, you see shadowy shapes appearing from the way you came. The ghouls must have returned. Now there is no choice. You must hope that the magic user ran away and that a way out lies in that direction. Fighting the ghouls would mean your death. You stagger under the weight, but manage to run down the corridor, holding your lantern shakily with one finger. You enter a room, but it looks empty. No time to search. You continue onward. You head into the next corridor. You see light ahead. And as you approach, you see that it's coming from the side passage. Let's see. Ray says, but mages, they can ease your soul. And Sean says, a smart cleric with only one spell doesn't take healing. They'll take something preventative, like protection from evil or light. That's right. They're good for an affinity, at least, or a single magic missile. Now, the only time as a cleric I only take Cure Light Wounds is when I play video games. And that's when you have to have them. Let's see. Peering into it, you find that the corridor leads outside into the midday sun, carefully in case Margot is waiting to ambush you. You walk outside and all is clear and calm. Now, just for Sean, I'm going to traumatize you a little more and give you a closer look at that picture of Alita dead there on the ground. You can make the trauma complete. Let's see, they're good for an identify, at least a single magic missile. A wizard is, yeah, mage. I'm referring to a mage. I don't know the name. Mage's music. Well, Mage's music is Berlinster Gandaldor. Did I get that right, Sean? Or Sean? Or Mage's music works too. Let's see. You rest a bit. Pick up the cleric and head back to town. Once there, you take her body to the church. It's pretty much the same. And you get the potion of healing. One of the clerics examines your bottle that you found. Seems to be a magical potion. It's a potion of growth. If you drink it, you'll become a giant for a short time, for 1 or 2 hours. You do double normal damage when you hit a monster. Congratulations, it's a nice magical treasure. It won't spoil, save it for an adventure in your future. The cleric thanks you again for your help, and you thank them for theirs. You leave the church and head for your home on the other side of town, thinking about the adventure and all that you have learned. Okay, we didn't win, so you guys want me to read the winning section just to see how it would have turned out? Yes, I will. Yeah. And yes, I'm sorry, Sean, but we had to show that. That's kind of part of the adventure there to read. For us, we have to relive it. For the people who haven't, though, they got to have that trauma too. Lita, we knew her not. Yep. And yes, Merlinster Gandaldor is 100% correct. I believe the first one, Ray. Yep. Correct way, of course. the Welsh way, of course. If I remember correctly. Yes, he is from the Welsh. All right, so winning. And then we'll wrap it up here after this. You've just played a D&D game. This adventure was designed to show you some of the basic parts of the game you play in a fighter. You tried to survive in the dungeon while fighting monsters and treasure. You succeeded, so your character wins. Take a moment. Why do we play games? To have fun. Each player wins by having fun. If you had a good time, you win. You can have fun even if your character gets killed. And if that happens, don't worry. You can always make another one. Winning a role-playing game is like winning in real life. It's just succeeding and doing what you wanted to do and living through it. The fun comes from doing it, not ending it. This is why we say this and that in this game, everybody wins and nobody loses. In this game or a story, you ask, is this a game or a story, you ask? It's a little of both. As you learn more about it, it will become more and more like a game. You still have many game details to learn, so continue reading. You have met some monsters and won the battles. You have found some treasures, not only coins and gems, but a magical potion. Most important, you have learned how to use your own imagination by using the rules of the game. Could you see in your mind the wicked magic user Bargle or the kind, wise cleric Alita? Can you imagine the gold and silver scattered on the floor by the huge, deadly rattlesnake and the fierce battle afterward? This is another part of the fun in a Dungeons and Dragons game. Of course, then it goes into all the other aspects of making a character, alignment, and how the character sheet works, and how to make new characters, and equipment, and all that good stuff. But those of us who are in the know, that's how it was, man. D&D at its finest. Very cool introduction. Also, it's very memorable with the death of Alita. I think it touches a lot of people. Four wizards. Let's see. We lived. Yeah, we lived. That's what the tiger says. Did Alita have fun? Right up to the point where she got killed. Yes, sir. Yeah, she touched young men. Yep, true that. Yep, yes, Ray, true that. So that is the original introduction to D&D when they revised it in 1983. One of the coolest covers, also very memorable, the Larry Elmore cover. We also have the red box set. Just love the way it looks. And I didn't really show off the companion rules box set. I got everything back in it, so it's a lot more sturdy now with all the stuff in it. I put the Masters and the Immortals in here as well. And just really cool box set. I used to love having these old box sets, but it was so hard to keep track of everything. And then, of course, the Dungeon Masters rule book gives rules on how to play and how to run a game, and has the rest of the adventure. You can keep playing our character Bono if you want, or you can make a new one on your own and get some other people together and play, and it's a lot of fun. I always loved Dungeons & Dragons, but I always kept adding things to it. until I finally just made my own game. But yes, it's still one of the best rule systems. Still holds up, and I think that intro still holds up. I totally agree, Ray. Let's see. Renee says you needed a wish spell and a talisman of Saggy. To bring her back, that would probably be the case, yeah. Yep. I guessed it right. We all wanted to do that, but I don't think they ever did. I think they kept her dead. Sean would know better than I. He still plays a lot of the old school stuff, and yes, definitely check out Mage's Musings. I'm definitely going to be recommending him in 2 weeks when I do my review of Keep on the Borderlands. That should be a lot of fun. We have a Death Door rule. Yep. And they have a painted plan at the temple. Yeah, it depends on your game master, or what we like to call a referee. But yeah, they do. And you usually play in Quest. You pay in Quest. Let's see. Sean says she never returned in an official capacity that you know of. Yeah, I don't believe she did either. I've never seen anything to that effect. Very cool though. I really enjoyed that intro, and I'm glad I got to share it with you guys. And I hope you enjoyed this. I didn't know how long this would take, and I didn't really care, but I figured we'd be about 2 hours looking at all this stuff and watching the videos of artwork that I made and getting things together. Now, if anybody has any questions, now's the time to shoot them at me, because we'll wrap up here in a few minutes. Let's see. Renee says, have you thought about Amazon KDP to publish your books? They're already there. And in fact, on all our live play games, in the description are links to all our books. Currently, we have 6 books for the Enhanced Edition out. And we have the Lenharo Fantasy Adventures. I can show off the players right here. This is our Enhanced Players Guide. And yeah, you get this on Amazon for about $35, sometimes cheaper, depending on how Amazon does this week, I should say. And they change the price on it all the time. Let's see. Sean says the Shrine of Alina module is third party. Yeah, but third party stuff can still be pretty cool sometimes. I mean, isn't it pretty much all really third party now? Ray says killed off throwaway character. That's how it kind of seems, but that's not how a lot of kids felt. And I know that I personally, as a game master, brought Alina back, and she was in my games. Let's see. Yeah, we have all the books on Amazon. That's what I was saying. Threw my heart away. Yes, sir, Ray. I fell for that doggone cleric when I was 13 years old, like you wouldn't believe. Renee says, by default, you should have links to your books in your description. Like I said, in our live play games, I do. Let's see. Mage's Musing says, Sean says, I mentioned it not as comment on quality, but that it wasn't canon or official. I get you. I get you. But it can still be fun sometimes. We also, like I said, we also have our Lenharo Fantasy Adventures is our light edition, which is rules light, and those are also available. We'll also have them on Drive-Thru RPG, so you can check us out in both places. Just look up Christopher Hill or Lenharo, and you should be able to find all our stuff. Let's see. Ray says, dude, she was celibate. We don't know that. We don't know that. Our imaginations didn't know that as a kid either. Dude. All right. So, but yeah, thanks for the advice, Renee. I appreciate it. I do like all sorts of advice from my fellow YouTubers out there. Renee's channel, Rascal and Lucy, she does a lot of really cool videos on her 2 cats. There's some nice videos. She did some really cool Halloween videos last month too, so you can check those out too. Let's see, who else do we have in the house tonight? We had Spine Ticks. Definitely always check out Spine Ticks on Saturday nights. Great stuff. They do a late game, 8 o'clock Pacific time. 9 o'clock for me here on Central. And like again, Mage's Musings. Check his channel out. Rudini has a channel. Bert Beats has a channel. I think a lot of us do have channels. So check everybody out. Dave Collects Yeah has a channel, and he'll be on Spine Ticks on Saturday night as well. So hope I gave everybody a good enough proper shout out. So you're welcome, Renee. Thank you for being here. Thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it. And, again, I hope you enjoyed my review of D&D Basic and FtH. I mean, a lot of times we just call it the basic rules, FtH or BX or the old blue box. It's all the same to me. I group it all in just like I do first and second edition. I know a lot of people don't, but I do. I use what rules I like from that when I played AD&D. And we'll get on it then, Tiger. And you're welcome, Ray. Let's see. Renee says she'll be at the Spine Ticks Live. I run it a little late. She'll get to rub it in swag when his stars beat his ABs. The Return of Darkness. Yes, sir. But in this case, we're talking to Darkness the Cat. Yeah, Tiger has subs, so yes, the sub to Tiger. She'll tell you that too. All her videos are actually on From the Hill, though. Yeah, there she goes. She said that. And Ray says, feeding the cat. He's out. Love y'all. And again, love you guys too. Thanks for being here. And with that all being said, with a blast, a little bit of no. Logan out. And hope to see you again tomorrow night. We got Fridays from the Hill coming to you. So you take it easy. Good night.